Okay, that's better lighting. We have better lighting, and I'm a little warmer on my heater. This is kind of a test. I haven't done this in a while. It seemed more complicated, and it's not because of my ear. It's because of I I don't know. They updated things or something. It's very easy to just go live on your phone or whatever, but to schedule, um, I kept getting confused because it would schedule and it would say go live, and I thought if you schedule it, it'll automatically go live. So I waited until noon, and it didn't go live automatically. So I don't know. How are you doing? Hello. I'm doing okay. I'm warming up here next to my heater, and I went for a walk. That was good. See if anybody else comes in. Oh yeah, here we go. See, I can read this on this computer. I think. Let's see. Omni Omnibus. Hi. Blockhead. Yes. Hi. How are you, George? Good to see you. Oh, well, I can read it, but I can't read what the fuck your name says. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Somebody else can read it. Yeah, so I'm just kind of like yeah, I mean, talk about life. It's been a little bit rainy here, most definitely. And I wanted to show you, George, I wanted to show you a couple records that I got. So in a storage unit, got a shit ton of singles. A lot of them are pretty beat up, but this was cool. It's playable. It's oh, this is gonna be good. Yeah, the Sonics, the Witch, and like, dude, there's like another like I don't know 400 singles. There's a lot of interesting ones, but not a lot of really cool stuff. And Sonics, Louie Louie, and Cinderella on here. And this is just a couple that I put aside that were a little cooler. Oh, I was going to give this to a friend. It's the Funkadelics, which is I guess it was part of Parliament early on. Who else? Is anybody else in here? Oh no, your lights are flickering there. I had a little bit flickering here, but didn't lose didn't lose any power. Oh, this one's weird. Check this out. Hey RCLC, how are you? So this was very curious, George. Curious, George. Yeah, very curious here. This is the Whalers. Yeah, and this came off, so it's in very bad condition, but I don't know. I thought that was interesting. There's a lot more. Probably won't go through them right now. Yeah, RCLC. I'm just, staying warm here by the heater. Kind of dealing with so ear crap today. Not great, but that's not what I want to talk about. Yeah, I just thought they'd come on here for a bit and shoot the shit. And Yeah, I might sell them. Yeah, I might sell those, George. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I want them to get into the right hands. So you can check out my other singles too. Remember that Seattle area band Botch? Yes. Yeah, actually I was in a band called the Yoke Fellas back in the 90s. And right when Botch was starting, um, the band I was in, the Yoke Fellows, we did 2 or 3 shows with those guys. Were you in Botch, RCLC? What exactly happened to your ear in 2 sentences? I have to think about that. Can I say it? I can't stop listening to oh yeah, Botch. Um, there was a couple shows that there was a band called Behead the Prophet. So we played with Botch and Behead the Prophet at least once. I don't know anybody in Botch, but I remember the drummer was not very cool. I mean, like when I tried to talk to him. So I don't know. I mean, whatever. That's just like a memory. I'm not trying to be negative. It just, you know, it's just one of those things. Like I remember, dude, okay, like or something. Do you remember the band Baba Booey? No. Where are they from? Baba Booey. 7 people. Yes. Yes. There's an army. I I thought I'd be happy just to talk to even one person today, So yeah. Yeah. Um New York, they were fronted by Howard Stern. Oh, uh, Baba Booey. Okay. I thought Baba Booey was one of the dudes on Howard Stern. Are you just you're fucking around, kind of? I, maybe, I don't know. So it's weird because when somebody chimes on and makes a comment, it's got a little crown by your name now. I'm not sure. It's like a whole new YouTube world now. I don't get it. George, I was thinking maybe we could do because I want to try out the invite a friend onto YouTube thing. It looks like it's probably pretty easy. I don't know how to do it exactly, but I saw the link and that would be cool. We could talk a little bit. I'd be interested to hear some some of the details about how you got. I know a little bit, but how you got into music and how you got into you know some of your record collecting and just what inspired you, and we could talk about records and shit too. That'd be cool. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, friend George Blockhead, he's got an awesome YouTube channel where he talks about all kinds of music and record collecting, and he's very knowledgeable. Hey, Nate's here. Hi, Nate. Nate also has a YouTube channel where he's from Boston and he films local bands from Boston, and he films them on a high 8, like a 90s high 8 type video camera, so everything looks like underground and cool. So that's Found Footage Films. Yeah, check out Blockhead and Found Footage Films. My only claim to fame is a work for the last big grunge frontman. You work for the last. Sorry, I'm trying not to wear glasses. I can read everything pretty much. And who's that? Grunge frontman. Ed. Oh, that guy. Vedder? You work for Eddie Vedder? Wow, dude. Do you know Rob? Rob mm, he's a old friend from you might know Rob then. Rob is a sound tech, or he was a sound tech for Pearl Jam. Rob from Coffin Break. Do you know Rob? Oh, wait. Is that Rob? Yeah. Um yeah, I don't have a battery for that camcorder yet. And I do have some extra tapes around too, so that can happen. Personal enough for the band. I'm sure I've seen all the band guys coming through, but yeah, so Rob is one of the singers in a band from Seattle called Coffin Break. And the last time I saw him, talked to him, it was about 10 years ago. And I think he's still working for Pearl Jam. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably a pretty good gig. Um, do you know Joe Burns? I don't know Joe Burns like buddies, like friends, or ever known him. But I've talked to him a couple times in my life. I talked to him probably back in the '90s, playing a couple shows where Aspen Feast, you know, s- I'll say open for Subvert or whatever. Um, but like I've told the stories about running into Joe, and then the whole soaked in bleach story. I don't know. When it comes to, I don't really have a lot to say about him being truthful or not. I mean, that's kind of getting into, I just know that listening to his um story in detail, there's things that just don't jive. So um and yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know what you mean, like what. This is how chat works. Is it? Yeah, just try to be as specific as possible, and I can things that don't jive, which parts. Well, there's a lot to that. um I think that he seemed really wasted, like when he was trying to tell the story, and he had not gotten quite a bit of sleep when at all when he was um, at the house those last days that he was there. And I don't know. It just seems the clarity was not there. And uh yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of questions, I mean, most definitely a lot of questions there. I don't Yeah, would you say Dylan is that person? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're meaning to either. Meaning to say. Yeah, that whole thing, honestly, guys, the whole clusterfuck of the Cobain case and everything has just turned into a absolutely monstrosity. Okay. I mean, everybody's upset at everybody's else and, trying to make money off of this and that and whatever, I mean, like, my questioning on the whole thing goes back to 2015, and then by like 2018 I was really looking into it and really curious. That's like, you know there's so much going on with the whole Cobain case and the soaked in bleach, everything, that it's gotten completely out of hand, where there's no um, trying to create a narrative is not realistic, you know, and that's what's trying to be done, trying to create a narrative, you know, and the only person that really knows what happened, and I'll believe this for unless something convinces me, and I'm open-minded, nothing has convinced me of this. The only person that knows what happened is Kurt. There you go. The only person that knows what happened is Kurt. That's what I think as of now. If something can convince me, I mean, that's the whole game, is like, trying to create a narrative to convince people of this, and to open a case and whatever. Good luck with that. I mean, Seattle is freaking, I mean, I don't know. There would have to be video footage from back then that has some kind of significant, just like, oh my God, that is, for this to, I mean, something to really come, and maybe there is, that's how I look at it. I'm not like, no, I don't believe that, or I'm gonna, I mean, like, okay, I'm gonna read some comments here. Yeah, I don't know how he could remember that unless he has been saying the same story for over 30 years and has been wired in his brain. I think Joe and all those people were there, but I think Joe is holding back on info. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those conversations where I almost like to kind of move on to something else, but I'll say this, that I watched Joe ask, because I had heard that, oh God, I don't even want to go into it. It's just like, I get worked up and I need to relax, guys. It's a clusterfuck, all right? It is a clusterfuck, and I've seen no answers, I mean, whenever something is like brought up, like, oh, how about, it's almost like the universe is just throwing more wrenches into it to go like, oh, look at this, I mean, there's been nothing like this ever. That's so many weird synchronicities or twists and turns that I mean, I think Tom, if anybody, Tom Grant has done the absolute most of anyone. He has the phone calls, right? He has the phone calls. There you go. I mean, those phone calls, like, I've heard people like badmouth and put down the phone calls, but crap, the one thing I've been able to contribute is in late 2018 or something, when they released the photos from the greenhouse, and there was the phone call where Courtney is saying something about, do you still have the letter? It's written in red pen, and it's on the back of an IHOP. And I remember I had to listen to that so many times. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, what if the letter that's in the greenhouse is in, written in red? So I looked, sure it is. It is. And you can see the perforation around it. Like it's not a piece of paper torn out of a notebook. It is on a placemat maybe, but that's about it. Do we know where it came from? No. Maybe it was an IHOP in Europe, maybe, right? Okay, I gotta read some of this. I'm losing you guys. Let's see. What if Bonnie or another witness collaborate? It's like the what if. See, that's the problems. The what ifs. Can't have what ifs, man. I mean, it's like we're all going to make up our own stories. It shouldn't stress you out. It's just stuff you aren't involved. No, I'm saying stressed out. Like literally, my ear. I can hear every freaking heartbeat in my ear right now, going ksh, ksh, ksh. And if I get stressed out, my ear starts going ksh, 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 I mean, it is stressful. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons to be stressful about, I mean, there's nothing comfortable about, talking about Kurt Cobain's death to me. Whatever, right? It's never been comfortable. I'm probably one of the only people that will even talk about it that knew Kurt. It's like because of the weird freaking paranormal thing that happened to me, it's like I can't let it go. And I've had synchronicities and weird shit happen, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Yeah, thank you. It's pulsating tinnitus. Yeah. And I'll just say one thing, Odium, that I have a question if it wasn't an IHOP in Europe, because I kind of think that note may have been in his pocket in Rome and then taken. That's a guess. Again, it's like a what if, oh, what are we going to do with that? Oh, well, we'll make another story, right? See, I'm getting at another story because it kind of makes sense. At one point it's like fucking A, I don't know, man. Yeah, Blockhead. I discovered some good new bands. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to think about that. Yes. There's a singer-songwriter from Portland, and she goes by the name Searows. So Searows. And that it's very mellow and very beautiful. And yeah, she's pretty recent. Really good stuff. I have what's considered pulsatile tinnitus, where it was initially tinnitus, like back in months ago. I didn't talk about it because it's, it would come and go, and I literally thought it would go away, and the closer it got to my appointment, I'm like, and this pulsating tinnitus has now been happening for about 2 months. And I went to the emergency room. I'm not urgent care, not to the emergency room. I called a nurse and I asked her what I should do. Like based off it. Scary, you guys. This is fucking scary. I mean, I'm living with it, but tell you what, anybody that experiences this all of a sudden would go to the emergency room because you don't know what the fuck is going on. If you can only imagine hearing every heartbeat in your ear loud, there you go. Like, like right now. That's what I hear constantly. And yeah, my blood pressure, it's good news because I'm taking really good care of myself. I am. And my blood pressure went down. I've cut down. This morning it was like 135 to 139 over like 85, which for me, everybody in my family is on high blood pressure medication. Well, my dad's on multiple, at his age. My mom passed away and she was on it. And anyway, but from my immediate family, so high blood pressure is in my family, and I'm going to be talking about that to my doctor in a few days just to keep tracks on it. I don't know if there's a remedy. It looks like I'm thinking there's going to be something that's going to help it because of my eustachian tube dysfunction that I've had for 20 years and been diagnosed with it corresponds with what's going on. I just need a freaking ear doctor that will like really talk to me. This guy wouldn't. He was just too fast and like didn't want to really hear me out and really like take care of me, of my ear and figure so it's going to take a little time. I got to get the CT scan. That's weird. You want to know what that is, you guys? It's a freaking CT scan angiogram for the head and neck. What they do, you have to have an IV. So I'll have an IV and they put this stuff through you that lights up all your freaking veins and shit or whatever. I don't know. And they put you in what's kind of like an MRI machine, and it's going to like, take pictures of all the stuff in my head, man. And yeah. So yeah, money grabber. Yeah, luckily my insurance is going to cover it for now. So, I mean, is what it is, man. Yeah. Sleeping is not easy, but when I get a good sleep, I feel better. All the monkeys with hand symbols. Yay. Energizer monkey, right? Right? Yeah. He keeps going. I'm an Energizer monkey. Yes. I'm 56 and I'm like an Energizer monkey. No doubt about it. I don't feel 56 except for my ear feels like I don't even know how old that feels. So no, I want to say my ear is not clogged. The doctor I've had multiple doctors look in there. There may be something up with the tubes where the lining of the tubes may be inflamed. So that could be a case, something like that. Can't spell years without ears. I was trying to think of another word for it. Alexa, what's another word for year?
Synonyms for year. A common synonym for year is distance, which is often used in formal context. Would you like to hear more synonyms?
No. Stop.
Some synonyms include point, generation, or past. For more,
generation. There. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean okay, so I do feel healthy and I am taking care of myself, and this is important information because if this pulsating tinnitus is from something worse, there's more signs of, like bad negative signs, and ultimately there isn't. I don't have a lot more negative signs. So on that note, Monkey Cymbals, yay! What's my favorite memory? What's my favorite memory of Kurt? God, I think that's hard. You know, we actually, well, I definitely, I was around Kurt a lot. I mean, you know, like considering how many times, not like around him all the time or anything, but there was, you know, a lot of times. My favorite memory of Kurt, you know, I mean, that's an interesting question because would it be seeing him play like live? Like, I mean, definitely my top, absolutely top show was with Dale. I mean, when Dale played with them, absolutely. So it would have been, they were Ted Ed Fred that night, and then Dave played the first show with them like a couple months later or something. I don't remember the exact date, but it was close. It was when the same day they recorded, you know, the 11 songs, 11 or 12. Nate, how many songs? I forget how many songs are on that first tape. Anyway, basically their first album with Dale, but never released as that. They played that night, and that was definitely out of the 23 times I saw him play, or some close to that. I was probably about my favorite. But again, that's hard, man. I mean, small Nirvana shows were amazing. You know, I mean, that's the thing that we were spoiled up here, because you know, so many people got to see him play, but only in like Coliseums or whatever. And I saw him twice in Coliseums, and the Paramount show, and then the Moore Theater show. But those are the big, really big places, I guess, in a sense. The Coliseum, nothing, you know. It was like I was like, cool, you know, it was cool, but it wasn't like the K Dorm shows, you know. I mean, shit, dude. Yeah, my favorite time, one of my favorite times, like I'd say hanging out. You know, there's so many memorable times. Um, I would say going to Aberdeen with uh, Kurt and Chris and Matt, and then, you know, playing drums with those guys for a song we played, Communication Breakdown. Kurt was singing, Chris played guitar, Matt played bass, and I played drums. I played really a punk rock version of Communication Breakdown. And yeah, that was after Attica played. So we went out there, and then we stayed at Matt Lukin's house out there. And yeah, that was pretty memorable, you know, for sure. But what is one conversation you have had with Kurt that you don't think you ever told anyone before? Yeah, that's a hard one, because I really have tried to share everything, you know, that, you know, I could share, really, that I could think of. What just came to mind is this. I may have shared it. One time I went to the grocery store with him up the street. I think it was a Ralph's up the street from, Ralph's up the street from where he lived in Olympia. And we were in the grocery store walking, and he was telling me, they had released the Blue EP and Bleach and the 7-inch. And he was telling me that they went to some party where were like label people and whatever, around and like talking to them and talking whatever. They were there, but the label people would say things like, "Hey, you guys got to write more songs like Blue. That's a really great song." Or like, "You got to write," and that kind of annoyed him. Like that that they were like, "You got to write more songs." Like I remember him, he was kind of like, "Yeah," that was really, really annoying. He was never, his conversations about labels, being courted by labels was never good. I just remember Kurt always being kind of annoyed, and Chris. I mean, yeah, those guys were always kind of annoyed. So would he just be ranting, or would he be concerned with other people's ranting? Oh, Kurt didn't rant. Kurt was mellow. He was mellow to talk to. Yeah. He didn't, like, you mean like getting upset or no, it would be more like just kind of like what I just said. I that's what I remember. He, be like, yeah, that some guy from Chrysalis, I remember, came up to me and asked if, we should write more songs like Blue, or yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's hard to, but he wasn't like ranting. Yeah, it wasn't like a rant. It was more just like talking. That makes sense. If does that answer your question? Am I answering the correct question? Have you read? I attempted to read Hank Harrison's book, and God, I got like a few pages into it, and I was like, whoa, that is. I mean, he was like going off on some weird stuff that had nothing to do. It seemed like it had nothing to do with Kurt. I mean, it was. Yeah. So, if you're still here, Louise, yeah, I haven't. Maybe I should give it another chance. I mean, I've always thought his interviews were really interesting. I mean, there's so much, that's the thing. If anybody ever cares enough to dive into everything surrounding, the Cobain case or whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of weird stuff, man. Daniel, hey, how are you doing? A lot of weird stuff. I don't even have to, some people just, and honestly, a lot of friends that I have, I can see that they just don't, it's not that they don't care. See, that's the thing is like people that are really super into the case, they like to go like, his friends just don't fucking care. If you cared about him, then you'd be justice for Kurt, bullshit. No, people just, it's like Kurt was who he was, and that they want to remember, it's like, let it go. It's kind of like, let it go. I love, I love the guy. Let it go. Sometimes I wish like if I never had the weird voice thing, maybe I would not, maybe I would just be like, no, I just don't even want to hear it. I love the guy. I'm just saying that's, but I'm pretty far into my book now, where I'm literally, it's called My Surreal Life and the Death of My Friend Kurt Cobain. And no, I'm not doing it to make a lot of money, if anybody buys, I don't even know how to approach that. These are like literally stories, things that have happened to me, that so many things have happened to me that were like bizarre. It's like, why is this moment or running into this person now or this, it's so coincidental or synchronicity type things. And so, yeah. Hi, Larch. the projected, I mean, it's one of those things like it's going good and I'm not sure how to approach it. I'll probably just self-publish it, but I think it's good, because there's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of nothing that I mean, everything I pretty much talked about here and there, it's nothing like I'm like keeping something special from my book. Nothing like that, it's just like, if you read it, you can see like, whoa, yeah, my life was fucking surreal and weird. And, you begin to wonder, it's like, are things kind of pre-planned and there's like parallel realities can happen, but I don't know. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, now talk about the Epstein files. When is the projected? Okay, publish date. Probably within a few months. I'm not rushing it. I'm literally not. CD of your. I was thinking about maybe reading a little bit of it and posting a video, so I might do that sometime. I don't think Kurt would mind if you made a buck off his name. He practically handed people demos and sell it outside the label. I think it's all the same. It's a tool. No, he didn't actually give away, I don't think he did give away mini tapes at all. I think he gave tapes to very specific people that were maybe trying out for the band. Some close friends. But once those guys got signed, and we're talking about Sub Pop era, that was a big deal. And giving away the recordings before was not, that was like, you couldn't do that. So they weren't supposed to. And they were really, really, really good about that. So, yeah, when it comes to like, making money off of Kurt, I think that you have to look at just how things work. And if you're doing it in a sleazy or a, shitty way, then yeah, fuck you. I mean, if it's like, it's like, I'm like writing stories. I'm writing true, things like it's like a document, and for me, selling the stuff that Kurt had given me, I did. Believe me, I held on to it for 30 years and I almost lost all of it. I mean, multiple times, but definitely to a freaking monsoon. So at one point I'm like, ugh, when Montage of Heck came out, I'm like, oh fuck, how much is that worth? I never thought about it. Never thought about selling that tape ever. And then it clicked. I'm like, oh my God. Not only is this, the first demo and Kurt's wrote on this, it's it has Montage of Heck on, I'm like, oh God. So I just wanted to see what would happen. And yeah, I got really good offer. And that guy turned around and sold it for, I'll keep the price, dude, it's not as much as you think, but I got paid fairly for it. He sold it for 4 times because I saw his listing on eBay. And it was like, what? Yeah. So, yeah. So when it comes to like, fuck, man. Let's see. Was the first thing, was the voice thing your first? No, that was not my first paranormal experience. And in my book, I detail things that happened to, what had happened to me. I think I've told stories about them here, so it's like, and the book's not just about paranormal experiences, but it is like, it's like looking a little deeper into life, that things aren't, what you what you see in front of your eyes is really, very much an illusion. We are stuck in a mass illusion in the United States. It's just ridiculous. Anything you can do to free yourself from belief, free yourself from thinking that you are something, realizing that the real you is not what you think you are, right? I mean, it's a real like ground. I was trying to explain it in that video. It's like you're far more depth to a human being than what we're handed, in high school. It's like you're going to be a good doctor, Timmy, or you're going to, be a football player or this or that. It's like, I think that we are not given much of a chance to really become, what we can become, to be handed real tools for growth, and to be a really good person. A friend George that was on here earlier, he went to, there's a school in Tacoma that's for like the School of Arts, and you could go to high school there, and it's a school of arts. And actually, one of his teachers taught him sound engineering was he's the guy that recorded freaking Blue. What's it, George? Are you still here? What's his name? What's the producer of the Blue EP? Or am I wrong? No, he produced the Blue EP. What's his name? Anybody can think of his name right offhand? I don't have my phone by me. Come on. Come on. George is gone. Anyway, yeah, that's the kind of school, like, oh my God, badass. Well, close friends known to sell t-shirts and demos. Wanted to start. Yeah, can I give you I want to give you my hypothesis, and this has to do with Callie, and it has to do with the tape that Kurt supposedly gave Callie. Now this is interesting because the drummer of Hole, Eric, he talked about that Kurt was writing like his White Album or something. Now you can find that if you look it up, but nobody has ever heard it or something. I don't know. And I wonder if that tape, is that the tape that Callie has? I don't know. Anyway, that's no more. Again, it's the more that we tend to create narratives and stories in our heads that seem to make sense and they are like parallel realities, but what is the real reality? It's whatever you want it to be. It can, but there's danger in that, absolute danger. You can believe anything you want, and you can create your own parallel reality of what the fuck, where we are, what we're doing, who, so yeah, yeah. And melody riffing and chord structure to me is phenomenal. Yeah, do re mi is cool. That's a unique song. That really grabbed me when I heard it. I was like, man, it's like this area I could only imagine. Kurt was moving into doing acoustic, mellow or like weird acoustic stuff or something. Maybe like, it's like I got really into Elliott Smith. I still love Elliott Smith, but it's almost like again, it's weird with like fucking time and how things work. Elliott Smith came around the perfect timing. He was just no doubt about it. And nobody could match like literally the the genius of his songwriting, and he was gone. And he's gone. It's like, why? You start looking at life, and it's like, fuck. Maybe some people are just supposed to be around for. I know this is difficult, but to imagine, but for just so long, just to do what they're going to do. But if you look back at history, it's kind of like that. Somebody pops in, does something that will change history forever, and then they're gone. And there's so many things like that are just like, God, it's not anybody can do that. Bizarre. Life's bizarre. Take care of yourselves. I'm telling you, man. Take care of yourselves. It's important. I've taken pretty good care of myself. Like, those are all real teeth. Well, no, actually, I have one right here is a porcelain, but that's pretty good for being 56. I have some missing teeth, but yeah, you guys. Oh God, John's showing us his teeth. Okay, go get some rest, John. All right, maybe I should do that. All right, you guys. Anything else? I think I'm ready to wrap it up. You guys, yeah, stick around more. All right. Well, I gotta do something. I gotta head to the bathroom real quick. All right. I'll stick around a little bit more. Give me a good question. You guys have some good questions, so thank you. All right, I had to get some water. Okay. All right. Are you into the music coming out of London in the past decade? They are pumping out greats every weekend. I can recommend some bands. Yeah, I'm way open-minded to, hearing new music. I'm really heard the band called Senium. I have not. Cool. I can't think of many, but if you have any ghost story, that would be cool since it's Halloween. Oh man. Well, I've unfortunately played with a Ouija board a few times in my life, and I can tell you that weird shit happens. I'll tell you a story. Mom had a Ouija board that she had hidden in one of her drawers, and I found it one time, and I remember Mom like saying that she was freaked out by it. And me and my friend Dave, this is like I was a kid, like 14. We did it. We did the Ouija board, and we'd ask things like, are we ever gonna be, rich or whatever, and it would, and I remember it would. I remember this. It would be like, and it just went flying. It went flying off the board. I mean, like fast, bam, and we were just like, oh shit, we're like 14, right? I wonder how often that happens to kids, like we were freaked out. I mean, it was, yeah. So there you go. If you play with Ouija boards, be fucking careful. Yeah, that's no joke. That's what I think about that, Louise. Oh, those are some of the bands. Insecure, Movement. Okay, I should be able to come back to I'll have to write those down. Acoustically for me are. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of interesting stuff. Lambrini Girls. Ah, fuck. Sorry. It's weird. Like this pain in there all of a sudden. It didn't stay. It just hurt for a second. God, I can't wait for this to be gone, man. Drinking water. God damn it. Ugh. Sucks, man. But, I'm gonna have to shut this down, you guys. Sorry. It's I need to lay down. Yeah, the last thing, because I haven't seen Sparrow Eyes say anything, so I'm gonna shut this down because of my ear. But
this is a reminder: drink water.
The only time I was aware of Kurt using heroin, he asked me if I knew where to get any.
This is a reminder: drink water.
And I had never heard him ever talk about heroin. And I told him, I'm like, dude, you're not shooting heroin, are you? And he said, no, I just smoke it. I think I've told that story. And I never, because I had already had a couple friends I was in bands with get into that stuff. And it's like, I knew it was bad, Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, guys. You guys have a great one. Basil says, "Who killed Kurt?" I don't know. Maybe you guys can find out. I don't know. Um, somebody told me it was a guy named Chris Michelson was with him. So I don't know that either. So yeah. Cheers. Thank you. I'm gonna try to do this every Sunday now, and I will just post a live where it'll be like a plan live. Hopefully I don't fuck it up. I kind of fucked it up and had to turn it off and start it again. But anyway, all right, you guys. Bye-bye.